So today we have our software architecture and design, and we will start with our members. It's me right here, Cap. We got Abelia and Vincent. And first, I will explain how our work is distributed. So we have Abiola working on our documentation, which is and sequence diagram and the class diagram, and I was able to finish up with the component diagram and the code. And then Vincent was able to help me with the implementation of the code and reviewing it together. And so we look at Abiola's work right here. I sent the code to her so that it could be in cooperation with the code, and we can see that from user we input characters, and through the input file we have our storage of lines, and then we sent the message, and it gets the characters from circular shifts. Circular shifts then send this to the alphabet, and the eliminator, which is not really required but also known as the noise canceller, will also all these three files eliminators, which is noise canceller, alphabetizer, and circular shifter, will send it to the to the output from getting it from the input. So we have an input file that will get whatever we input, and then circularly and alphabetically shift it. And we also have a noise canceller, but that's not really required into the database. Yep. And we will look at the code after I go through with it. Actually, let's just go over it. So from the sequence diagram, we can see that we have a input and a let me see this. An input. Let me just minimize this. An input, alphabetizer, circular shifter, noise canceller, and the output file collected to the database. So we can find the alphabetizer and the circular shifter code here. It gets it into the pipe and filter mode. We have pipes, and our filters are here, which filters it. So anyways, we got our input file that we input, that gets the input and sends it to the main reader, which we can enter any input or any file in here, and we store our file in here inside the input txt, and we can also see how it's correlating to the graph or the sequence diagram, shall I say. So we have our input alphabetizer. Input alphabetizer sends it to the circular shifter, same thing, and it sends it to goes through the filter. And we have our eliminator, which is noise ignorer, noise canceller, same thing, and then it will run it all in here. So that's our correlating with the sequence diagram, and has the output file matching with this. All right, so if we go to the next, we have our component diagram, which is basically just giving an idea of how we correlate with the code. So we have a view component, which is our view is basically how we implement. This is all our view, and then you can see that how it implements runnable, and they implement each other. So we did that. I did a view that extends, filter, and just all's connected. So they're all part of the view. And then it sends it to the controller, which is the main program. The main program retrieves data and gets it from the pipes and filters method. And then we have our test cases, such as our input txt file that we put it inside. It reviews and has the test cases, and then we put it inside our repository, and then we can see that the controller sends it to the KWIC engine, and then if we through the test case and review inside the I can't say that word, repository, it executes, and then we can see that through what I just said. So we have our pipe and filter, which are just, it gets it from our controller, and it puts it in the main output. We can see our pipes, and it catches it. So yep, that's our component diagram. Pretty simple way of understanding this. All right, now we move on to our class diagram, which is the same thing, but it gives we can see that our input adds or removes data, and then yeah, the functions of it or operations of it is that store data, and then we can see that. Just go over it. Also, just it's pretty similar to our component diagram, but this is just displayed in a class diagram, and you can see how they're all correlated, how input and they all have the master controller. So that got circular shifter, alphabetical sort, output, which sends it to the noise canceller. Yeah, noise canceller. The name can be a little confusing, but it's the same idea. Line storage, which stores lines, and character index. This is all just pretty simple idea of what I already explained through our code, and it has everything. And our source code, which I just showed you. Oh, this is our output getter for our the first part of it. But now I will show you what our program does when it runs through the new test case that was given. So ignore the noise canceller here. We didn't really need it, but it was just to test out for next purposes. But through the input file, I have a. Sorry, let's just put this. I already ran it. Let's run it again. So through the input file, we have the input text that the professor has provided for us. And just like I said, it gets the input file through alphabetical and circular shifter, and then it returns the output in the terminal. So just put our input file right here, and if we run it, we'll see. Yep, you can see I put C for circular shifter and S for alphabetical. We can see that it circularly shifts, and then later on we can see that it keeps shifting circularly. Later on it'll have the S, and alphabetical shifts too. So just to see this, I removed the shifters and the alphabeticalizer, and I put it in our output. Oh, actually, I'll put the txt, and we can see how it alphabetically shifted from our terminal. This is just to view it better. So it alphabetical shifted first. We can see that I'm pretty sure the big ones or the capitalize are in the way bottom. So let me see. Can't find it. Yeah, there it is. Oh, it starts actually like above, but I missed it. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, it starts on line 70. But we can obviously see how it shifted alphabetically first, and also circular shifts, all for a better understanding, as we can see our output right here. And that's about it. Our main program, going through everything, source code. All the ideas are the same, just implemented in different ways in diagrams. So component diagram, sequence diagram. We can see how that parse with the code and how the output runs. Thank you.